Toby, how's the nerves?
Those are good, actually, to be fair. The only, it was one of those contests, wasn't it? I'm sure it was a magnificent spectacle for entertainment, and we are in the entertainment business, as I've said before, and I think if you've watched that, you're entertained. But yeah, it went from one end to the other. It was the old, and I'm old enough to remember, Kevin Keegan, you'll score 4 and we'll score 5. But, coaches like things to be a bit more matter of fact and whatever, but we knew it was going to be that way. After the game over there, we knew I was asked about press coming out of their camp, which I hadn't heard, but I can imagine. They obviously were very disappointed about what happened over there, and they came over to prove a point, brought the best team they could. I'm sure, because with everything on the line, and we found a way, as the book says, we find a way, and that's what we were trying to do. And I still probably would have kicked the goal at the end, but the leaders on the team, and we backed their decisions, and the outcome, they made the decision, and ended up getting, an extra try and a bonus point, and we end up qualifying for something already. So that's a very pleasing outcome.
There's some lovely moments, but the kicking of Kai Evans proved crucial, didn't it? A man who's just come into the team last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. He's grabbed his opportunity, and it's been a difficult journey for him, with injury and bits and pieces, but also opportunity. And we've talked here, and I've talked about grabbing his opportunity in bits and pieces, and he's really thriving under it. And I'm really pleased for him, him and his family, because he's fulfilling the potential that he's got.
As you say, you've got some sort of place in Europe, which after the results this club has had over the last few years, it is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm so pleased for everybody involved. In relation, I came here with a view of turning the ship around, as it were, and the basis of the season, and the 1 win or the 2 wins in that season and bits and pieces. But it's much deeper than just going out and getting performances. It's from a culture, it's from a vision, and from a collective effort, and lots of stuff has taken place to get to this point. And it was significant last year qualifying for this competition. It was significant to win the Welsh Shield, because you have to learn how to win things, and how difficult we made that as well. So, I'm just pleased that the more milestones you get, the more recognitions, the more playoffs you get to, the more habit it becomes. And we have to, we're trying to become a team that can think for itself, and we've seen some of that, can compete on a consistent level with the best, and that's what the aim is to do. And it's not going to be straightforward. Things are sometimes against you, selection, injuries, international call-ups, but we've just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other and see where it takes us.
Helps when you've got a man like Justin Tipuric scoring tries like he did there. That was quite an effort, wasn't it?
I've not seen much like that, to be fair. I was just having a conversation at the back of the room that he reminds me so much of Olivia Magnier, who I had the pleasure of coaching at London Irish, and who was an absolute freak in relation to, in a positive way that is, of an athlete, but also as a rugby player. He could have probably played 9, 10, 12, 15, 7, 6, and Justin's exactly the same. His skill set's ridiculous. He sets the bar for the team. He's leading exceptionally well. And if the camera had panned to us at the gantry, we were probably doing a version of Wayne's World, because we certainly weren't worthy, because there wasn't anything we could have done about that.
Obviously, you've got a lot of candidates for the Wales squad, and a few of those would have impressed Mr. Gatland this evening, I guess. Yeah,
I'm sure they have. I've not spoken to Mr. Gatland, as you put it, at some point. I know he's firming his squad up, and I no doubt we'll sit down at some point and talk about that, and he'll talk to me about that. All I'm pleased for, as I said, is a great performance for the Ospreys. The individuals within it will get the accolades they deserve if they fit what he's trying to do, and if they don't, we'll try and produce the next ones that can.
Bit of a setback for Rhys Webb. What was the injury, and how bad is it?
Yeah, I haven't spoken to Webb. I think he got a rib shot. There was a couple of instances in that play, and if he comes off, then it's not straightforward, because he's tough. So from that point of view, hopefully it's not too bad. And you know, he's been one of our consistent performers all year. So yeah, we wish him well, and obviously we'll look after him and get him back as soon as possible. And I thought Ruben did very well in his place, to be fair. So you know, we're blessed in the fact that we've got some good strength in depth.
Delights of the 6-day turnaround now to try and get something up in Leicester and maybe get a home draw in April.
Yeah, well, we've had about 4 6-day turnarounds in the last 6 weeks, so we're pretty used to that. But yeah, it's important that, you know, we just take stock of where we are physically and mentally. But you know, going to Welford Road, that's extremely tough, and a lot of teams are beaten before they get off the bus there. So from, you know, I've got a lot of experience of that. But you know, we're also in a situation where we've got something to play for, and that's going to be important. And we're looking forward, like we did here before Christmas, to pitting our wits against a very, very good team.
You'd be pitting your wits against a different coach than you did last month, though. Richard Wigglesworth, I think, was the sub-scrum half, wasn't he, down here?
He was, yeah.
And now he's the head coach. What have you made of?
That's an interesting interview.
What have you made of what's going on there?
Well, any team that goes to Claremont and produces that performance last night is something to be reckoned with. So from that point of view, yeah, nothing changes. Extremely respectful of Leicester. And what it stands for, not just now, but and the improvement in it, but also what it stands for before. You know, an absolute stalwart of the English game. So, you know, it'll be a privilege to go there, and we'll look forward to competing the best we can.
What's your record like there?
Mixed. For Bath, it was pretty good. For Irish, it wasn't so good. So I've had good and bad with that. So, but all I'm interested in is the one with the Ospreys, which will be the first one for me.
See you Friday.
Thank you.
How pleasing was the impact of the bench? You know, it's not something you necessarily associate with Welsh teams. Normally it's the sort of the big money spenders, the French and the English, bringing big names off the bench, but everyone played their part tonight, didn't they?
Yeah, I think that our bench actually normally does make quite a big impact. We've got a strategy around that, as you probably worked out, in relation from a props and a front row point of view, and keep people fresh and keep their careers longer and bits and pieces. So we've got to trust our squad for sure. You know, and I made the decision to go 6-2 tonight for a reason. You know, and play Rhys Davies in the back row for a reason, because if you lose collisions, you know, too often, it becomes very, very difficult. And you know, we still need to be good at that and be better. But a lot of them we were good at, and that's probably a testament. We know we can go there, and we can go there for long periods of time if you've got strength and depth off the bench. I felt that we probably didn't quite get there enough against Leinster the week before, and then we probably just dripped off a little bit as well. So, and that's no reflection on the players and the fitness. It's just, you know, effectively your players versus their players. So, yeah, we played Montpellier massive respect in that, but you know, we knew what was coming 5 weeks ago. So we needed to make sure that we didn't get ourselves behind the 8 ball before we start. And I'm really proud, as you say, of the impact. It's a 23-man game now. You know, Ruben coming on for Webby, it shows you. You know. And you know, it's always a risk going 6-2, and to lose a back early, you're like, "Ooh, this could be difficult." But as I said, we've got the man in the blue hat who could probably play anywhere.
What about George North coming in? He obviously didn't get that much chance, but good to see him back. And
yeah, it's great to see him back, and you know, George, you get confidence from having time out there for sure. He's going to be undercooked, and you know, no one expects any different. But getting him out there is the first step to to becoming the best player you can be, and you know, it's good to see him out there, and you know, hopefully we get Owen Watkin back soon, and a few others, and Steve Myler and people like that, because you know, throughout the season you need them.
You spoke a lot in pre-season about picking up more bonus points. French champions isn't a bad team to do it against, and particularly the sort of the variety of how they did it. You know, just about every sort of type of score, you know, forward dominated.
Yeah, we should have had one over there, to be fair. But you know, but coaches are greedy, right? So no, I think that I make no secret about having a strong DNA of what performance you can base on. Everyone knows that the Ospreys stand for something from a forwards point of view, and we've taken a couple of years and some great coaching around that with the coaches to get us to a level where we can compete with the best. But on certain days you need more than that, and you need the attitude for it. You need backs that can change games. You need strategy that allows people to be brave, and there's lots of layers to all things. But the one thing that we certainly learned from last year is that we need to make sure that we've got positive intent whatever we do. And you saw that today, and that we got on the right side of that today, which was brilliant. But we're growing as a group that understand what being positive intent looks like and being brave, but also understanding how to win, because it's easier, you know, and we've been on the wrong side of some results this year where we've probably not done that. So unfortunately it's an up and down thing, but we'll enjoy the up while we're at it at the moment.
Toby, where does beating the French champions home and away rank in terms of achievements from your point of view?
From a European point of view, it's unbelievable, to be fair, to double up, you know, home and away against the same opposition. And you know, it used to be in the old format, you used to have to win your home games, win one away from home, and you were pretty much through, right? But now it's completely different. You only play, you know, 4 games effectively, and you get the same opposition quickly. So there's a coaching, you have to learn quickly in that. So, but on outcome, yeah, it'll be right up there for sure, because, you know, probably with getting to the semi-final against Toulouse for me with London and Irish, which we did, you know, that was a big play for us. But yeah, the thing that, you know, I don't detract about me, it's about the players and where we're going, and to get knockout European rugby, especially on the backdrop, as you've all asked me about European rugby in the Welsh regions and bits and pieces. I think that's important, and hopefully other regions in whatever competition are in knockout stages, because that means the game in Wales, which it all needs, is, you know, moving in the right direction despite the backdrop that we all know about.
Just a final question, you mentioned Ruben a couple of times. Has he had to be patient, you know, in terms of getting starts, and do you think that he's taken the opportunities well from what you've seen over the past few weeks?
Yeah, I thought he played brilliantly last week, to be fair. And, you know, again, we talked about Kai before. It happens to a lot of young players. It happens to any player, actually, not just young players. And if you get strength in depth, now the only real motivation really is around selection. People want to play, you know, and I understand that. And what we're learning about is your performance has to stack up. So we talked about props on rotation, right? If your performance doesn't stack up, you're not in the rotation, and that's how it works. But that's how we push each other to be better. We can't rest and take a step backwards. It's the attitude of improving every day, improving our performance, because that allows us to win more games, which gets us into those situations. So, yeah, Ruben's been and has had to be more patient, because Webby's played exceptionally well, and also we were probably lacking a little bit of experience, and Webby's brought that. But Ruben's seen a couple of opportunities recently, long opportunities, and he's grabbed them with both hands, and I'm pleased for him.